Hey guys, it's just Michael here. In this tutorial, we're going to be covering the new loop builder inside of Bricks. So if you're unfamiliar with what a loop builder does, it allows you to take, for example, blog posts, set them up as a query, and create your own kind of like style and design. And to be honest, it's truly amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dive straight in. I'm going to show you kind of the structure I've created, and then I'm going to go and create one from scratch for you. So to break it down, I've got an extra container here. You probably won't need that. I'm just doing that so I can kind of like see what I'm doing. It's basically our very first loop that we create. As you can see, it's one container here. So these ones we don't actually create at all. It's based off this here. So under here, we've got our image and then our content, and then we have another one for our buttons, another container. So you don't have to go this deep, but for styling purposes, I did. So what I'm going to do is recreate this. So what I'll do is now close that up, and I'm just going to delete that straight out and start from scratch. So I'm just going to set this container up so I've got a bit of room to move. You don't have to do this. And we're going to set this to 441 means 0. So it's kind of like full screen, well, the parameters that I want. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to create our own loop card on the inside here. So we're going to create one. So we've got a card in here. Well, the frame. We're going to set this to percent, and we're going to put it at 33.3. So now this is going to hold basically our card that I just showed you. So I'm just going to drop in 2 containers. I'm going to relabel this one to image. I'm going to label this one to our post loop. It's going to be image, and then this one's going to be like the content. This time I won't get a bit tricky with the button. I'll just kind of like fold it down. So because this is my image, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start out by giving it a, I'm going to leave the width because we don't need to touch that. We're going to give it height. We're going to give it 400 just so it's nice and big. And then we're going to come down to background. We're going to click on the dynamic dot. We're going to come down and we're just going to click featured image. And I usually leave it at full. Just going to go through these. I like to set it at center, no repeat, and then select cover. So it's got a nice cover there. You won't see any of this until I've actually populated it, which I'll do at the very end. So now we're going to jump into the content one. We're going to go to layout tab, and I'm just going to probably put 40 padding. I'm going to link that up. So everything that goes on the inside of this is going to be like 40 in. Then I'm just going to put a top margin of like 20, just so it pushes it away a little bit. Then I'm going to come down to the background here. I'm going to set one of my background colors that I've preset. I'll probably use this one here. And then I'm going to come down to the border. Just going to check a bit of a border on it. Link that up to 1. Solid. Now let's have a look off. Yeah, we can't see it at the moment. Let's preview that actually. Yeah, that's not too bad. I don't mind that color on the border. It's subtle, it's not too strong. What we're going to do now is on the content tab here, we're going to drop in a header, basic text, and a button. We'll start off by styling the header first. So I'm just going to quickly grab some text off my other website. Well, actually, I'm just going to grab random text. So this is going to be... Actually, no, we're not grabbing any text. Sorry, I've just had a memory blank there. So what we want to do is we'll delete everything out, come into the dynamic dot. We want to come down to, where is it? Post title, sorry. So that's going to be post title. This one here, we're going to delete it out again as well. We're going to jump into this and we're going to bring it down to the exert. Exert. And then before we move on to the button, I'm just going to jump over to layout, and I'm probably going to put like a 20 on the top and 60 at the bottom. Let's go 40. Now we'll jump down to the button here. We're going to style this up. We're going to get rid of that. And we're going to just put this as like read more. We're just going to keep it nice and simple. And what we're going to do is we're going to change the link to dynamic dot, and we're going to set this to post link. So that way it's going to link up to the post. We're going to come into the style tab. And now we're going to give it some color. So first, I'm probably going to set the size into 14. Set the text to white. Probably make it uppercase. Leave it the way it is. Back up here, sorry. Set that to 0, 0, and then 0. I'm going to set that to 5. So that's just in your layout. We're giving a bit of padding because I'm going to put a bit of custom CSS on this. I'm just going to go down to background now, and we're going to set this to transparent. You don't really need to do that, but I just do it anyway. I've had times where it kind of like just jumps in when it shouldn't. We're going to make this a whole button. Actually, we'll just make it an underline. So we're just going to set... Actually, we're not even going to put a border into it because I'm going to add some custom CSS to this. Just going to boot up my other install while I'm waiting. And it's basically the button here now. We've got the link. We've got the post content that we want. You can set it to content, but then you're going to have to limit it. It's just easier that way. And then we've got the post title. So in here are the post images. We're going to add another block, and we're just going to make it a basic text block again. We're going to click on this block here. We're going to delete this out. And we're going to come down. I previously created a AFC field. So basically you can install the free AFC, you can create a field called event dates, and you can say, hey, display in posts. So that's all I've done. I've got it sitting at the bottom on the the right hand side. So it's going to pull the date in. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into layout. We're going to push it to the right hand side. We're going to probably put 20, actually no, we'll put a 10, 10, and we'll go 20, 20. So as you can see, there's a bit of nice little bit of gap there. And we're going to come into here and we're just going to set like the background a bit black. Yeah, we'll leave it at that one there. It's at 90%. So it's a bit see-through. Now you've created your layout. It's very simple. Now we're going to come back up to the post loop that actually holds all this content. I'm going to come over to the content tab. I'm going to go to use query loop. We're just going to click on here. I'm going to click on the query loop now. I'm going to go, okay, posts. If you want to go post type. You can set up your dates, how many you want per page. I'm going to set 9 because I'm going 3 by 3. And you can go, if you've got multiple categories like I do here, you can set it to what category you want. And you've got other options too. You can get a bit tricky with it if you want. Now you'll notice how they're folding below each other. We don't want that. We want it to go, oops, left to right. So on the outer container, sorry. So the very first container that holds the actual post loop needs to be set to horizontal. And then you come back down to the post here. We want to go into style, come into here. We want to give it a bit of margining, so we'll probably give it 20 to the right hand side. And 20 on that's actually no, we'll just probably. I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. So there's a few options here, right? So we can bring this down to say 31%. So it doesn't fill the whole thing. We can come back up to here and we can go space around. Oh yes, one thing you got to make sure on the very top one here, we've got to set the flex wrap to wrap. If you don't do that, the content will just keep flowing all the way to the right hand side. So now we've done that, I'm probably just going to go with the margin. And we'll leave that as it. We'll come into here and we're just going to set the left hand side to 20. Actually, I think right hand side's probably the better one. And then I might actually see if we can... No, I'll just leave that. I've forgotten how I set it before, but I had it perfect. And we also want to set a bottom margin of like 20 as well. I think what I done was I just put 20 on here and I went link up. Yeah, that's what I done. There we go. I've just set 20, 20, 20 all the way around it. It's kind of got a little bit lost there in my thought. So basically we've set that up. Now we can come in here, you can style up your text a little bit. So we're going to go into the typograph. I'm going to give it like the color. But I want to, we probably want to set that to about 20. You can probably drop it down to actually 18. You can set it to fancy text if you want to. And basically, that's our loop. It's pretty simple, to be honest. And now you can come into here, you can go type in page. Oops. And we've dropped this in here. Probably, you can probably put it in here. Put that there. And you can probably give it some styling and whatnot. As you can see, you can't see it because I'm only here. What we'll do is we'll drop this back to 3. I'm going to go save. Oh yes, we've got to select what loop it's going to be connected to. So it's connected to post loop. As you can see, it's shown up now down here. And all we're going to do is we're going to set it to the middle here. You can go through and style it however you want. Probably put a little bit of padding on it. Or actually a margin of like 20. We've already got 20 margin there. These are 40 between them. And then that'll give it the pretty much the same amount. Now it's up to you how you want to do your cards. As you can see, the cards aren't filtering into the box here properly. Because they're all set to 31. We want to set it to 33.3. So there we go. It's kind of like fills it up properly. So if we view that now, as you can see, it's pretty much similar to what we had before. It's got the date up here from the ACF field. It's grabbing the post title, post insert, and then you got your read more. Now, on my actual live site, I've got some actual CSS. I'm just going to grab that now. So on the button here, for some reason my thing's a bit buggy at the moment. Just going to chuck in some CSS, drop that over to CSS plus. We could probably reduce the height on that. Probably leave it at 0. Yeah. But I bet you if we view it on the live, it's nope. And then when you come into the responsive side of things, because I'll just jump into that quickly. You got your 3 on here. You might want to reduce the actual padding on this down to 10. Link that up. So it's not so pushy out. Maybe reduce the sizing of this down a little bit. And one thing I would do is on the actual content card, I'll drop that from 40 to 20. Link that up as well, just so it fits in there a little bit nicer. Now, you can probably leave this at 3 on the tablet. When we jump across to here, ideally what you want to do is change this loop. So to change the sizing, so let's say we wanted to change this here to only 2 across. We would come over to the width, we'd go to your loop card here. You go to the width and you'd set that to 50%. So that's how you would change the actual sizing. So you could probably set it to 50% on the tablet. Jump down to mobile here, and I would always set this, I don't care if it's on the landscape mode, to 100%. Now, if you wanted to, you could go, okay, we can change around a bit of the sizing now on this here. Get rid of the left and right on the mobile. We want to keep the padding in between the top and bottom between each section, but we probably want to drop the bottom 20 down to give it a bit more room. And with the picture, you can actually change the height, but 400 is, it's a go-to field for me. It's usually pretty good on all devices. It's not too bad. It cuts off a bit of the picture, but well, people will live with it. And then we'll go over to mobile. As you can see, it's pretty nicely configured. And if you wanted to change the button color here, just if you haven't already noticed, you can click up here, click on this, select hover, come down to the typo, change this to that, and we'll set that off. So save that, just preview. Nicely done. Now you can go through and you can style these up however you feel, you know. So if we come back to the original one here and we set this back to 9 like we had it before, it'll start populating the content back in. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. As you can see, if the titles are bigger, it's going to push content down. So you just have to be wary of how you want to design it and whatnot. So maybe you want to go two across if they got big titles. So yeah, that's basically it. It's, you can create anything you want. There isn't anything limiting you. Oh well, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. It was nice and simple, and have a great day.